but they have assumed two bodies. Thus they enjoy each other, tasting the mellows of love. Purport. The two transcendentalists, Radha and Krishna, are a puzzle to materialists. The above description of Radha and Krishna from the diary of Srila Swarup Damodar Goswami is a condensed explanation, but one needs great spiritual insight to understand the mystery of these two personalities. One is joining in two. Sri Krishna is the potent factor and Srimati Radharani is the internal potency. According to Vedanta philosophy, there is no difference between the potent and potency. They are identical. We cannot differentiate between one and the other any more than we can separate fire from heat. Everything is absolute. Everything in the absolute is inconceivable in relative existence. Therefore, in relative cognizance, it is very difficult to assimilate this truth of the oneness between the potent and the potency. The philosophy is inconceivable oneness and difference propounded by Lord Chaitanya is the only source of understanding for such intricacies of transcendence. In fact, Radharani is the internal potency of Sri Krishna, and she eternally intensifies the pleasure of Sri Krishna. Impersonalists cannot understand this without the help of a Mahabhagavat devotee. The very name Radha suggests that she is eternally the topmost mistress of the comforts of Sri Krishna. As such, she is the medium transmitting the living entity's service to Sri Krishna. Devotees in Vrindavan therefore seek the mercy of Srimati Radharani in order to be recognized as loving servitors of Sri Krishna. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu personally approaches the fallen conditioned souls of the Iron Age to deliver the highest principle of transcendental relationships with the Lord. The activities of Lord Chaitanya are primarily in the role of the pleasure-giving portion of his internal potency. The absolute personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, is the omnipotent form of transcendental existence, knowledge, and bliss in full. His internal potency is exhibited first as Sat, existence, or in other words, as the portion that expands the existence function of the Lord. The same potency, while displaying full knowledge, is called Chit or Samvit, which expands the transcendental forms of the Lord. Finally, the same potency, while playing as a pleasure-giving medium, is known as Hladini, or the transcendental blissful potency. Thus, the Lord manifests his internal potency in three transcendental divisions. So these are detailed explanations of the reason why the Lord Chaitanya appeared and what is his identity and how the identity of Radha and Krishna have manifested as Lord Chaitanya himself. And Lord Krishna is the supreme enjoyer, but he has seen that his servitor, Srimati Radharani, his topmost servitor, that she actually enjoys more than himself. She enjoys more in giving him service than he enjoys in receiving the service. So he wanted to taste also the mellows of what she experiences, what she tastes And this is why he appeared in the mood of Srimati Radharani and also with the complexion of Srimati Radharani, yellow complexion. Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari. Tapta Kanchana is the color of Srimati Radharani. So during his pastimes, Lord Chaitanya has manifested different moods, but mostly he has manifested his mood as Srimati Radharani, as the topmost servitor of the Lord, causeless or unconditional, giving unconditional, offering unconditional love to the Lord. So our ideal is to attain that level which all inhabitants of Vrindavan also have. They have this attitude that they want to give Krishna pleasure, and this is their only desire. They only want to give Krishna pleasure. And they don't mind suffering also, if this will be engaged in Krishna's service and also ultimately give Krishna pleasure. I remember I was searching in the database the phrase success means with quotation marks. Then you narrow down the search. And I found a statement by Srila Prabhupada. He said, knowledge means to know him, success means to please him. So sometimes people ask us, because sometimes we speak about success, and people ask us, so what is success for you? What is success for you? And we say, success for us is to please Krishna. And once I was giving a talk or seminar in a public library in Zagreb, in Croatia. It's just in the very center of Zagreb, and there was maybe 10-15 people. And my seminar was about success, but based on the Bhagavad Gita. And then when there was a question time, one gentleman asked me, so are you successful? And what are you successful in? Do you consider yourself to be successful because you are teaching about success? And I said, yes, I have changed a lot since last 20-30 years. And to me, success means to change my character. It doesn't mean to make money. And they didn't object to this, because many people think you cannot speak about success if you don't have money. And I don't know if it's coming from America or from everywhere, but somehow people think that success means money. If you have money, you're successful. But here Srila Prabhupada has defined success for us. Success means to please the Lord, and you can please the Lord in a very simple way. Even Srila Prabhupada would even say that you don't even have to join our movement. You can simply have a picture of Lord Chaitanya, sit down and chant Hare Krishna, and in this way worship the Lord. You can find this statement in the Science of Self-Realization. Very simple. Sometimes some people don't like to join institutions and to mix with so many people. And he said, you don't even have to join. Just take the picture of Panchatattva and chant Hare Krishna in front of the picture. You can sit anywhere beside the road, or you can sit anywhere and worship the Lord by chanting Hare Krishna. Very simple. So, Lord Chaitanya has also appeared to spread the Yuga Dharma, or chanting of the holy names of the Lord. And this chanting is very potent, especially if chanted purely. If chanted offenselessly, then it really penetrates the atmosphere and also penetrates the hearts of people. And we have seen this when we go out, and especially if some very dedicated advanced devotee is present in Harinam, how people are very attracted. They sometimes follow the Harinam and start to dance. And so we have these experiences when our gurus come and join the Harinam, like Satchidananda Swami or Indradyumna Maharaj come to Macedonia, and then amazing things are happening. I mean, like miracles sometimes are happening on Harinam. So he has come to give this chanting of the holy name, but also he has come as a leader. He has come to empower people to preach and to spread the glories of the holy name. And the whole mood of Lord Chaitanya and Srila Prabhupada is empowering conditioned souls to actually become representatives of God. He didn't come and say, I'm going to be a leader, you follow me, but you also take responsibility and you become an instrument in Lord's hands. So this mood of empowerment is there. Srila Prabhupada also gave his disciples mission to start back to Godhead, to do different, to open centers, to take different kinds of responsibilities in the mission. And he was always training leaders and empowering leaders. So Srila Prabhupada, like today they speak so much about leadership, they teach so much about leadership, and sometimes these experts, they actually read about Srila Prabhupada, and some of them say that he was a perfect leader. He was following perfectly principles of leadership. Like one lady from the company, Franklin Covey, which is the company that published a book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, she read Srila Prabhupada Lilamrita and she said Prabhupada was following 7 habits perfectly. And she explained how he followed. So then some people say that leader is not, the best leader is not the one who has many followers, but the one who has created many leaders, who has empowered many leaders. This is the best leader, one who has created many leaders. And that means that that person is not afraid to see other people successful and more successful than him. Actually, a real leader, and true coach wants success of his students or clients more than his own. This is the true leader or true coach. He wants success of his students or clients more than his own success. He's selfless, he likes others to succeed, and he is happy to see that they become better than him. Also for the spiritual master, he also likes that his disciples become better than him, better devotees than him. So how is this possible? This amazing attitude, it's possible because these personalities, they have no envy. They have no envy. They like others to be happy. And they like others to be successful. And one, we know that God is called Bhagavan. Like Bhagavad Gita is, the name Bhagavad Gita, includes the name of the Lord Bhagavan. Bhagavan means one who is full of all opulences. And Srila Prabhupada has come practically penniless from India with, I don't know how many dollars, $10 or something. And he has created so much abundance, even material abundance. So also in Chaitanya Charitamrita we see so much abundance of food, of entertainment, of relationships, of emotion. So Krishna consciousness is so full of abundance. In the material world people sometimes experience scarcity, like scarcity of resources, scarcity of relationships, scarcity of love, expression of emotion. And Srila Prabhupada was a single person, and he brought so much abundance in all kinds of aspects of life. So sometimes people feel, even devotees feel, that something is lacking in their lives. And then sometimes they come to me and say, nobody loves me. Then I say, okay, tell me who loves you. And they say, well, I just told you nobody loves me. Why you are asking me this question? I said, think about it. There is somebody that loves you, but you maybe forgot. And you can write it down and then let me know. Think about it here now and write down who in your love loves you. And then they say, okay, yes, my mother loves me a little bit or a little bit more. My father, I think, also loves me a little bit. My brother, maybe also a little bit. And then I know some people loved me before, but now I'm not with them. And my grandmother loved me. Then there were some friends that loved me. So when they start to think about who loves them, actually there is many people who love them, but they don't appreciate it very much. They don't appreciate it very much. Maybe when they say nobody loves me, they mean the person I love doesn't love me. So I'm in pain. I'm suffering because of this. Because I want the love of that person the most. But these other people, they love me, but it doesn't mean to me so much. Maybe this is what they mean. But actually, perception of scarcity is Maya. It's illusion. There is no scarcity. In God's creation, God is not poor. In God's creation, there is no scarcity. There is only abundance, opulence. And Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna, what you have seen is just a fraction of my opulence. And Arjuna has seen so much opulence. So there is plenty of everything if we look carefully. And we have this tendency not to see what is in front of us, how many resources are there. And Krishna's devotees like Srimati Radharani, they know that there is always abundance of resources to use in Krishna's service. Okay, so tell me, how many fingers do you see here? Or quickly. 5. because you know the trick from before. When I do this in some programs, some people say 3, some people say 5. But this is just an example how we don't see what is there because we don't look very carefully. So I will give you one example from my own life, how I was upset because something was missing, and the reason was because I didn't see. So one winter evening I can't remember from where, I came to Ljubljana temple in Slovenia, and they sometimes let me go to the small room and sometimes they let me to the big room. This is a guru room, a huge room, and the small room is when this one is occupied, anyway, it doesn't matter. But they put me in a big guru room, and it's very high, so it's very difficult to heat during the winter. So it's cold, and they put one heater, which is like the heater I have in my room, which if you want to feel the heat of this heater, you have to come very close to that heater. And you have to turn on these two bars, or I don't know how you call them. And then I look at the bed, and there is only one thin blanket. And I was thinking, my God, I'm going to freeze. And they, and then I couldn't wake up anybody to take more blankets because it was 11:30 or something. And I was thinking, but they know I'm skinny, they know I get ill easily. Why didn't they give me more blankets? Devotees. And then I somehow squeezed under this one thin blanket, and I put this heater, but it was difficult because this heater emanates a lot of light. I put it just near me, and I try to come close to it and try to sleep like this. And it was difficult. I came very tired from airplane and bus ride. And in the morning I wake up and open the box, which was just beside the bed. There was a very, very thin blanket. Amazing blanket, very warm. And on the bed there is also two blankets we are covering the bed, which I could use to cover myself, but I haven't seen them. No, there was two sofas, not bed, two sofas for sitting, but they were covered. And if I would be looking just a little bit more carefully or checking there, so they assumed that I will find this thick blanket myself and not have only this small blanket. So many times in life it's like this. We don't see what is there. We don't see what is there. We are surrounded by resources. We are surrounded by people. And we don't see what is there, or we don't appreciate enough what is there. We don't appreciate people who are there, who are doing things for us. Recently, one devotee told me how she has to wash her mother. Mother cannot move. She can do toilet only in the bed. And I would say a little bit, she was a little bit complaining about this. Or not feeling very good about it. And I say, do you remember what she has done for you when you were a kid? Remember that? She was washing you for so many years. She said, yes. So I say, you should be grateful to your mother, and you should do anything for her now that she is sick, she is ill. She said she agreed to that. So God is giving us so much abundance to live and to actually take care of our needs, and also to engage in devotional service, but we don't always see it. We don't always see it. But if one is a little bit flexible and a little bit intelligent, he can get amazing things, which ordinarily you don't get. Like yesterday, I went to Birkenfeld with Vishwadev Prabhu to see for the first time in my life Govinda Natur factory. And before we went there, he showed me different houses that his partner is buying, his business partner is buying, and also renting to devotees. And he said he has 7 houses. And he told me because they cultivated relationship with the mayor, they got these houses much cheaper than usual price. And also he showed me his gallery and the paintings, and so he showed me that they have certain respect for the local culture or local history, and they have included some elements of the local culture or history in their cafe. And I think this is intelligent thing to do. And then people can come there, and this is a place where also VIPs visit, and then also they opened the only bike shop in this town, because there was no bike shop. That's intelligent. If there is no bike shop, you open and have a good business. So devotees say sometimes, oh, there is no jobs, there is no work. Was there any time in history that there was no work? Work is always there. But the question is, do you want to work? If you don't want to work, then you will always be jobless, even when there is abundance of work available. And I was looking for a job when I was in England because I had a family, and I couldn't get a job because my religious visa is there. I don't have a work permit. I am from a strange country, and but I was still looking, and I started. I was ready to do volunteer work also before I start to get paid in some charity organizations and whatever. But this didn't happen. But I was ready to do that just to get some momentum. And then miraculously, one devotee told me, oh, ISKCON London is looking for a congregational development director, and are you interested? It's a paid position. I said, yes. Oh, I would love to work with devotees and get paid so that I can pay my rent. I mean, not just because of this. I want to contribute to the mission. And then she said, okay, come to speak to our president. And I spoke to him, and he said, yeah, she's right, but this is not our top priority. Our top priority is that I need a personal assistant. So he said, are you ready to learn English? And I said, yes, and I was studying English, and I was translating Prabhupada's books. And he said, okay, so you can start with this, and then we will see later, how your service develops. But, you can come for a trial, I don't know, 1 month or something. Actually, they didn't try me, they employed me immediately. And it's a paid service. And I couldn't believe it, that I'm working in ISKCON, but also I'm paid so that I can survive, my family also. And I was looking for many jobs, like in different companies, like a consultant or something. But I don't have a diploma, university diploma. I just finished high school. But I did a lot of self-education, so I told them, these people, they ask you for a diploma many times, most of the time. And then I said, why don't you just test me for 1 week and see if I'm useful for you? Why do you looking into my diploma? Why do you want to see my diploma? I don't have a diploma of the university diploma. And they just didn't even invite me for this, like, trial period, which I didn't ask them to pay me for that. And then I couldn't believe it, that I will be employed in ISKCON, and working for ISKCON. And I worked there for 8 years. So I couldn't imagine in my wildest dreams that I will be employed in the temple and get paid. This is the ideal thing. I mean, what else do you want as a grihasta? So again, abundance. There is job in ISKCON, and nobody believes that. And for what you are paid, for some documents work, but also work with people. And then later, when he resigned, I was only working with people, and I was paid the same salary. I was only working with people, so I couldn't imagine how it's possible that I am only doing this mentoring and coaching, and they didn't even decrease my wage, my salary. And again, I see, yeah, I mean, this is abundance. This is amazing. Who else is paid like this? I'm so lucky. Who else is paid to listen and say a couple of words? So anyway, so now success experts, they advise this mentality, abundance mentality. They advise that we see abundance everywhere. We see abundance everywhere. And now material abundance may be there, resources, but then people sometimes say there is lack of love or lack of attention, lack of appreciation. This is also something that, people feel lack of. And yesterday Vishwadhar Prabhu told me that the main reason people leave companies because they are not appreciated enough by their managers, their leaders. And I mean, we had an interview also. You can listen to it if you like. I didn't get it yet. It's recorded on his phone about this whole project and how things developed. And I asked him different questions. And it's quite impressive. So, abundance. So now, as you know, maybe you have heard, they want to have a Bhakti town. To make a Bhakti town. And slowly buying houses. More and more houses. So this is also like abundance mentality. You are thinking big. You are thinking, why we can have a whole town for devotees. Why not? So, so this is nice to think like this. Srila Prabhupada was teaching us to think big, or to shoot for the rhinoceros, like really go for big things. And it is possible. Everything is possible. Srila Prabhupada said everything is possible. So this is something that we see also in the Shastras, this opulence, huge opulence. And when one wants to worship the Lord, then the Lord sends resources, and sends enough flowers, enough incense, enough ghee, and artists who will make backdrops or make the altar. No. And so we can just worship the Lord peacefully. Sometimes journalists ask Srila Prabhupada, how do you get money? Are you financed by CIA? Sometimes people ask me, are you maybe financed, maybe journalist or some new person comes, are you maybe financed by CIA? Especially if you go a little bit in Eastern countries. And I say, that would be nice. Because, we always lack money, but they wouldn't give us. I wouldn't object, but I wouldn't work for their causes. So, but Srila Prabhupada didn't, so he would say, they say, how do you make money? I mean, how do you finance yourself? How do you support yourself? And he would look at the journalist and say, Krishna inspires people like you to give us money. And the journalist was shocked. I think he also gave donation after that conversation. But Srila Prabhupada was so convinced that Krishna will inspire someone to give money for projects to go on. And I also found out how you are also maintaining GOLOKA Dham. I get to know about this. So there is one book called Millionaire Mind. And the whole book is about how millionaires think. Because if you think like a millionaire, you will act like a millionaire, and you get a chance to get millions. Now millions are becoming like change. They say billions. So okay, billionaire mind. And so now you have here a project and you can think big. But what is this big? You want to think big to make a lot of buildings? or you want to think big to get a lot of people. And I read your amazing PowerPoint presentation about your vision and mission and details about it, what kind of a project or community you want to be. And I was so inspired. I was thinking, if I would read this, I would definitely want to join this community. If I would not be what I am, like single traveling teacher, but whatever, I mean, family man or aspiring brahmachari or whatever, I would definitely like it. But it's such a wonderful vision, such a wonderful vision. Now the challenge is to implement this, you know, to implement it on a daily basis, and especially when making decisions. So when we make decisions, especially major decisions, then we can look in the mission statement and check, are we consistent? Are we actually in harmony, in line with what we have chosen to be our mission? So, but it's so amazing, so inspiring. I just want to show it to everybody that I'm preaching to. Even I'm going live on this Facebook page called Bhagavad Gita. It has 2.5 million followers. They're mainly Indians, like between 20 and 40 years old. And they really appreciate. I already told you this, that as soon as you go live, after 5 seconds, immediately likes and hearts start to fly. They really, immediately they write Hare Krishna and write something in Hindi, which I don't understand, and send flowers, hearts, different smileys. So this means these people are listening, I mean, to this page, and when you speak there, so I can say something about this project, and I can tell them, well, if you like, you can help this project, you can send some donation if you're a rich Indian. So, but I don't know how you made it. Did you involve everybody in creating it? That's why it's so powerful. Yeah, that's why it's so powerful. And Rasamandala Prabhu is one of my favorite devotees in ISKCON. He's such a wonderful facilitator, isn't it? So he also helped to like hammer it out, to draft it, craft it. Now if I go to other places, I'm going to show them what is the vision and mission statement, because this is so good. It's so good. So let us just go back before I finish to the verse and purport. What fascinates me about 4th chapter of Adi Lila and 20th chapter of Antya Lila is this description of unconditional love that Srimati Radharani has for Krishna, and that we all want and should want to aspire for. So this readiness to serve, and one thing that she says in Antya Lila, Lord Chaitanya is saying it, but it's in her mood, so it's as if she is saying it also. She said, I don't mind my distress. If this distress is giving Krishna pleasure, I don't mind being distressed. I only strive for happiness of Krishna, and his happiness is my highest pleasure. So this is our goal, to always act in such a way that the Lord is pleased, and we can always ask ourselves, is what I'm thinking now or doing now pleasing Krishna? Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
I think it's too expensive for what it really means. I'm more like, let's save the money for what we really need and not spend it casually. And I might be in the property, not in the
Abundance.
abundant. So I just wonder, where is there a border or a way to know if it's reasonable or too much, or you have any advice for that?
Srila Prabhupada was very careful and conscientious about spending anything. Like if he would see that the water is dripping, he would react. If he would see money on the floor, he would pick it up. So he would show how to respect every little piece of Krishna's energy. And this is one of the principles that I was just laughing yesterday. I sat in front of the bike shop with Gauranga Sundara Prabhu and Vishwadeva Prabhu, and they are like, rich people, and I am telling them, I am giving a seminar called Financial Abundance for Devotees. I gave it in Buenos Aires, and I have no money. And then I told them that, I'm teaching some professional principles from people who are rich, and also some spiritual principles. And one of the principles I teach is saving, being very careful how you spend. So this is completely okay to be careful how you spend, to think very carefully how you spend Krishna's money. But sometimes one can invest, and Srila Prabhupada also did that, investing with the idea of expanding things, or maybe sometimes taking a loan from the BBT, taking a loan from the BBT. So, and therefore, you already have this teamwork and team decision making. So, you have several brains, several intelligences thinking and giving different angles. And then when you have different pros and cons to make a decision, then you can get a sense what Krishna wants. Sometimes Krishna wants to make a risk. Sometimes Krishna wants us to be more cautious. And I think the leader should have enough ear to understand and that, okay, now they are objecting so much, so maybe Krishna doesn't want. Or I think some kind of a flip chart discussion that, okay, what are the pros and what are cons for investing or collecting for this and like this. But I think every expenditure, Srila Prabhupada says expenditure, is an opportunity for someone to give something for Krishna and in this way make service that they will otherwise wouldn't do. So if you think whose money can be engaged in this project, from the congregation, from the friends of the of our congregation, for acquaintances, business partners, and sometimes you have no idea. People say yes. You ask them something that looks like, people say yes. I must admit and give credit to the professionals and coaches because they teach you a lot. They say, they just follow the Bible, ask and it shall be given. Bible has amazing success principles like do unto others as you will have them do unto you. It's so obvious. Golden rule is called. If you don't ask, there is 0% chance you will get it. If you ask by the law of the universe or God, there is 50% chance you will get it and 50% you will not get it. So it's always good to ask. And you never know who will say yes. And if you create a nice campaign and nice presentation, leaflet for something, and say this is a service opportunity. We are not begging like beggars. Oh, please give us. We are poor and we need your money. But this is a wonderful opportunity for you to do service. Sridhar Swami also made a revolution. He brought 7 habits to ISKCON. He made a revolution. They made a huge fundraising manual, and I was reading it. Huge, like this fundraising manual. I don't know, maybe I even have it electronically. And they have learned from so many experts how to collect money. There is one book also, which have a beautiful title. It's a book about Christian fundraising. It's called Grow Giver's Heart. And if you like, you can read it. Or I can read it for you and I can extract things. If you want to do fundraising, how do you do fundraising makes a big difference. If we are always in a scarcity mentality, oh, we are poor, we need money, we are going to go bankrupt and, we are going to go hungry. But if you tell them, no, this is a service opportunity, you have no time to do service, but you can easily just give your money, and you have so much money. And, we will put your picture or something, whatever, some appreciation. We will send you certain things. And people like to have this exchange with devotees because they like devotees. Devotees are special people, and they can give so much if we treat them well, and if we present them this as service opportunity, not as, saving our necks or backs, saving us from drowning into bankruptcy, something like that. Present it. If you don't give, somebody else will give. Okay, we don't say this, but you understand, like this. So this mood of, these are opportunities. This is not emergencies. These are opportunities. We want to build a new roof. We want to build, and please come forward. And then they say 7 times thank them in 7 ways. Once on the bulletin board, once in the newsletter, once online, once in person, once through the gift. 7 times find ways how you can thank them. And then when they see, wow, these people are so grateful, I'm going to give them more. Okay? Okay, any other question? What is your name, Prabhu? Advitya? Advitya Baladev. You're doing abundant book distribution. Okay. Okay, now thank you for your service. That's an amazing service. I was grown up in the Hare Krishna Swami zone where book distribution was God. So if you wouldn't do book distribution or book production, which I did, it's a second best, then, you were more or less useless. So I learned to appreciate and to serve Sankirtan devotees. Okay, so any other question, point, comment about abundance or scarcity or unconditional love? Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai.